Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. The updated and expanded second edition of my book, The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments, is now available. Readers can expect to march with Arnie's Army at the 1960 U.S. Open, relive Jack Nicklaus's remarkable 1986 Masters win, and be amazed by the Tiger Slam. The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments. Pick it up where fine books are sold, including BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.com.
This day in sports history. It's June 7th, and on this day in 1995, Kenny Smith hit the big shot. But what most people remember about this game was a series of unfortunate events that gave Smith the opportunity to be the hero in the first place. This was Game 1 of the 1995 NBA Finals. The Orlando Magic were the top seed in the East against the surprising Houston Rockets, who had finished as the sixth best team in the West. The Rockets were able to beat the 3-seed Utah Jazz in Round 1 of the NBA playoffs, the second-seeded Phoenix Suns in the next round, and then the top seed in the West, the San Antonio Spurs, in the Western Conference Finals to advance to this point. The Magic, with Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway, were the new kids on the block. They were the future of the NBA, ready to take the torch from the Chicago Bulls and become the torchbearers for the Eastern Conference. Well, Kenny Jet Smith was not exactly ready to let that coronation proceed, and he came out firing. Smith connected on 6 3-pointers to equal Michael Jordan's finals record that he set back in 1992 during the Shrug game that we talked about a few days ago. But even with those long-range bombs, the Rockets still trailed by 3, 110-107, with less than a minute to play. In the final minute, the Magic were able to dribble out a lot of clock, and then they missed 2 shots, but they got the offensive rebounds both times to run the clock down to 10.5 seconds before the Rockets were able to foul. They ended up sending Nick Anderson to the free throw line. So after burning nearly a minute off the clock, maintaining their 3-point advantage, and the reliable Nick Anderson on the free throw line to shoot a pair, this game was getting ready to be out of reach. The Orlando crowd was screaming in triumph, Rockets players looking around at each other, wondering how they couldn't come up with a rebound. Oh well, on to Game 2, I guess. But then something strange happened. Anderson missed both free throws, and missed them badly. Houston's Mario Elie went up for the rebound, but he couldn't corral it. Instead, it bounced right into Anderson's hands, and he was fouled again, putting him back on the line for another pair of free throws. Whew! All he needed to do now was make one, and this game would be on ice. Well, he overcompensated on the next one he took, and it hit the back iron. He could not believe it, so much so that a smile crept onto his face. Complete disbelief. But surely, he wouldn't miss the fourth. And yet, he did. 4 straight free throws to put the game away, and 4 straight misses. Finally, the Rockets came up with a rebound, and they called timeout with 5.6 seconds remaining. Still down 3 with a chance to tie it now. Here's how it sounded that night.
All right, here we go. Got to watch Elie. He'll inbound the ball. He hit the big one in the playoffs earlier, but they get it to Smith. Kenny ducks, leads, fires, scores! Oh, a home-run at 3! He drilled it! 1:06 to go, and we're tied at 110. And that's a new record for an NBA Finals. In 3-pointers, 7 now for Kenny Smith.
But there was still 1.6 seconds left after the Magic called timeout. That's plenty of time to catch and shoot. We've had several of those just in the last few weeks here on this dish. The ball came into Dennis Scott, but his shot was blocked by Robert Horry, and the game headed to overtime. The Rockets were able to build up a 3-point lead in OT. With under 10 seconds left, Dennis Scott got another shot, this time to tie it, and he drilled it with 5.5 seconds on the clock. But now Houston had a shot to win.
Once again, this game is tied with 5.5 seconds to go.
Elie is going away from the ball. Kenny Smith is going to try to get it.
Smith circles out back. Instead, they give it to Drexler.
Oh, he's
Drexler driving. He goes. He puts it up. On the rim off. Tipped in by Akeem. The Houston Rockets have stunned the Orlando Magic, and they win Game 1 of the NBA Finals in stunning fashion. Great first ball game.
What a great game.
And a stunning comeback for the Rockets. The Magic, well, they never recovered in this series. They were swept in 4 games in the finals, and that supposed magic carpet ride that we were all supposed to be going on in the next couple of years never materialized. In 1997, it was the Indy Racing League's first run at Texas Motor Speedway, and this one ended in controversy and a fight in Victory Circle. The problems started around lap 140, when the transponders on several of the cars, including Arie Luyendyk's number 5 car, had intermittent problems, in essence, not communicating to the scoring system that they had completed a lap. Luyendyk's position on the track never changed, but on the scoring tree, he dropped out of the top 10. At lap 190, Tony Stewart was leading the race, well ahead of what was thought to be second-place Billy Bode. Luyendyk was behind Stewart and charging hard. Stewart was told Arie was a lap down, and he waved him by. With 2 laps to go, Stewart's engine blew up as he crossed the start-finish line, bringing out the caution and ensuring that the race would finish under yellow. Bode and teammate Davey Hamilton led the parade around the racetrack, giving A.J. Foyt a 1-2 finish as the team owner. Bode was directed into Victory Circle. Interviews were done. Champagne was popped and poured. But Arie Luyendyk knew it was wrong. He knew there was a problem. So he went looking for an IRL official to explain the situation to, and he went looking in Victory Circle. Well, Bode's team, and especially Foyt, did not appreciate Luyendyk crashing the party. As Arie turned to leave, Foyt came up behind him and he delivered a backhanded slap to Luyendyk's head and then pushed him into a flower bed. While all this was going on, the official scorers of the race from USAC knew they had a problem, and they were busy trying to sort it all out. But it wasn't until the early morning hours after watching the replay of the race that they realized Arie Luyendyk was right, and he had indeed won the race. The scoring was adjusted, Luyendyk awarded the win, and the trophy in an empty Victory Circle was given to him the following day. Foyt received a $20,000 fine, and Luyendyk had to give back $14,000 of his winner's check for unsportsmanlike conduct. The Indy Racing League sacked USAC after this race, sanctioning and scoring their own events from that point forward. In 1892, Jack Doyle of the Cleveland Spiders made history, becoming the first ever pinch hitter in Major League Baseball. He stepped in for pitcher George Davies and he singled. Now, you would think that early success would have made it a popular option really quickly, right? But it didn't really catch on for a few more years. As for Doyle, he had a decently long career, retiring from the game in 1905. He was a career .301 hitter and an even better .600 as a pinch hitter. And in 1986, on this day, the Kansas City Royals drafted Bo Jackson in the 4th round of the Major League Baseball draft. Now, this was a little less than 2 months after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had drafted Bo with the top overall draft pick in the NFL draft. But Bo refused to sign with the Buccaneers because they lied to him in telling him that a visit that he made to their facility when he was still enrolled at Auburn was okay under NCAA rules. Instead, when the NCAA learned of that visit, they made Bo ineligible to play the back half of his senior baseball season. That angered Jackson, and when the Royals drafted him on this day, he decided to play Major League Baseball. His name was put back in the NFL draft pool the following year, and he was taken in the 7th round by the Raiders. Time now for today's non-sports Did You Know? In Scotland, there are more than 400 words for snow. That's all for today. I'll have more tomorrow on This Day in Sports History. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.
Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, a.k.a. the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, We're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.